life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please tap that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. So yes, when it comes to asexual dating, relationships, love, if you're looking for that, and even if you're looking for friendship, get someone who wants what you want in the way you want it. This is particularly pertinent to those who want to actually get into a relationship. So what do I mean by this? So the problem a lot of us find is that when we're looking for a relationship, people are unemotionally available, they want to hook up, they don't take a relationship seriously, and they're not as invested in finding someone for a relationship as we are, right? If you're a person, you know, that is invested in a relationship, and this is what I mean. So you need to find someone who's like you. So basically, if you're a person that likes to hook up, which I don't think most asexuals are, but if you are a person that likes to do that, then you need to find another person that just likes to hook up, right? But if you're looking for a serious committed relationship, you need to be looking for someone who also wants the same. I know this sounds really dead easy and simple, but as you probably know, it's not. So if we pursue people who are really not that invested in a relationship, they're not bothered whether or not, easy come, easy go, they're not going to put the time, energy, and effort it takes into getting into a relationship with you and maintaining and sustaining it. Right? You're just going to be like bashing your head against a brick wall, feeling that you're doing all the work and that they don't value you and appreciate you as much as they should. So what's best to do is try to find people who are serious and want a relationship. Obviously, if you go on traditional dating sites, it's harder as an asexual person to find someone. But if you go for one that's paid site, then the people who have paid to be on that website are usually people who are more invested in getting into a relationship because they'll pay to be in a relationship. You know, they're already investing money as well as their time and energy into looking for a relationship. So they're more serious about it. The people that go on dating sites for free, I'm one of them included though, they're not necessarily invested so much in finding a relationship. That's not true of everyone, because obviously I have been invested in finding a relationship since 2014. I'm now on a dating app detox. I'm focusing on myself. So I do say that if you can't find someone who's as invested as you and wants the type of relationship that you want, then do give yourself a break from dating. Take time out for you to recharge. At the moment, I'm not feeling 100% well. I've got flu-like symptoms actually. My voice, I can still talk, I'm just nasally. So I've been off dating apps now for over a month. I have got an online friend who happens to be Indian actually, and I kind of we haven't really talked that much for a long time. And then all of a sudden he came in my inbox and asked me how I am when I happen to be poorly. And I've said in this channel before that Indian guys tend to show up in my life when I'm not feeling good. So yeah, but I forgot about him, and I totally trust him. He's one of the, well, he's the only Indian guy I totally trust at the moment. But unfortunately, he's an older Indian guy, and he likes his life in India. So there's no way we could have a relationship, which prompted me to do this video, because unless you can find someone who's equally committed to actually wanting to be in a relationship in the first place, and for that to be a very important aspect of their life and the main focus of their life, then that's not actually going to work. You've got to find someone who wants what you want in the way you want it. So I have to find someone who wants a relationship as much as I do, and who actively wants to invest in the relationship and wants to make that one of their main priorities in their life. Like for years, it's been a huge focus of my life. I'm going away from that focus now because I need time to be on my own and to get my career in order, my life in order, because then I believe I'm more likely to be able to get into a suitable relationship later on down the line anyway, once I've got my career more sorted out, my book publishing business more established, and, you know, I'm further down the line. But that doesn't mean to say I'm not going to find someone in the meantime. But for me, one of my priorities in life has been a relationship. You know, I hold a relationship in high importance in my life, because I think at the end of the day, when you die, most of us, not all of us, especially if you're asexual who's not romantically inclined, but if you're romantically inclined asexual, most of us want someone with us that's gonna be there to love us till the end of time. Obviously, you can have friends who love you, and it might be that I never ever do end up in a serious committed relationship ever again, and I do be single for the rest of my life, and I still have good friends who love me, and that is worth its weight in gold to me, you know. But I still, in my heart of hearts, do believe I have an asexual Indian soulmate somewhere, if I'm honest. You know, like talking to this older Indian guy, older than I would usually go for, Indian guy, you know, it just made me realize that I do still feel love for a Indian guy from a past life who I don't even know who he is. Like, so I still believe that I have an Indian soulmate from a past life and I don't know where he is. And that does upset me. But I wasn't thinking about that recently because obviously I've done the dating app detox. I don't really trust Indian guys usually anymore. But this guy I do totally trust. And it's very rare for me to be able to do that. And so that's what kind of prompted me to get a bit emotional and to think, oh yeah, I still do have feelings for an Indian guy I've never met in this lifetime yet, but I can't focus on that anymore. It makes me poorly just thinking about it, in terms of it's very upsetting for me, and I'm not going to find a guy for a suitable relationship if I've got those type of emotions going on, so it's not good. So I think it's very difficult if you are a spiritual person and you do believe in reincarnation and you do believe you love someone from a past life, because you can't stop loving them if you truly love them. Like, in terms of spirituality, your soul lives on from you know, different lifetimes, and so you can still love the same person throughout different lifetimes, you know. And so that's how you can love someone who you don't even know in this lifetime, you know. But I excuse me, I, you know, over the years that you've got to find someone who's as committed to being in a relationship with you in the way that you want it, as in seriousness, as in, you know, work towards being in a team together, wanting to spend the rest of your life with each other if that's what you want, and who really wants to be genuinely with you. You know, like, I need to find a guy who doesn't need to go traveling all around the world, because I love living in the UK, and someone who's like really wants the same type of lifestyle as me. Ideally, he doesn't have to have all the same interests as me, not all the same hobbies either, you know. I think it's fine to have variation, but I think you need commonalities of, like, where is our relationship going, like where do we see ourselves in 5 years time. Like, we just want to be so committed to each other, and we want to be supporting each other in each other's careers, and like the guy comes to live near me, and you know what I mean, and how are we going to progress our relationship, maybe do some classes or something together, you know, or just make sure we have dates each week, you know, that type of thing. But the problem with being on dating apps is a lot of them just want hookups and casual relationships, and obviously that's not what I'm after at all. I'm after a serious committed relationship. The guy who puts as much time and energy and effort into being in the relationship, maintaining and sustaining it, that as I do, you know, and that takes a lot of work. It's teamwork. A relationship's teamwork. But if you do, you know, end up in a relationship with a best friend, which I do believe that you should be a best friend to the person you're in a relationship with. Like, even if you have other best friends, which I do, I'm not going to drop my other best friends ever, but I need to have a guy who's also my best friend, who's a soulmate and love of my life, all wrapped into one, you know? So I would encourage you, if you're looking for a relationship, to actually think about the long term. What are you looking for? And if you're looking for someone who's serious and committed, you need to be going to places where people are more likely to be serious and committed about something. So that's, for example, obviously I sometimes go out with people from meetup.com, and those people are like living their everyday lives. They are, a lot of them, committed to their jobs. They do have some level of commitment and hard work going on in their life, so they are more likely to be able to commit to a relationship, unless they've got relationship issues like avoidance issues, dependency issues, you know, like, some of them just don't want a relationship, you know. So just because someone does work hard in other aspects of life doesn't necessarily mean to say they're going to work hard in a relationship. They have to be able to value and appreciate a relationship and make it of importance for it to be important to them, if you know what I mean. Like, I've done some courses, and in the courses you have to look at multiple aspects of your life. So, like, for example, spirituality, finances, career, life mission, relationships with your family, friends, loved ones, and actually being in a relationship, you know, all these different aspects of your life, health, wealth, happiness, basically, you know, all these type of things, areas you need to like look at in your life and pick out like what would your ideal scenario be like what would your ideal relationship be like, you know, because I think people are going into the dating relationship scene without actually figuring out how they would even go about having a relationship. It's kind of like a fairy tale idea to them that they haven't really thought about, or they haven't even really thought about past kissing and having an experience, you know. Experience is all good and well, but it's much better to kiss someone and be in a relationship with someone who loves you, in my opinion, and experience. You know, when you kiss someone who truly loves you and who wants to be with you and spend time with you and who values you and appreciates you, it's a completely different experience to someone who you just meet for kissing. Like, when you meet for kissing, it can be exciting, it can be fun and enjoyable, but it's like instant gratification that's in the moment, but it's not really surrounded by any security whatsoever, right? But when you kiss someone who truly loves you, you've got the feeling of security and warmth and the fact you're together, and it's just so much more relaxing. And this is how it personally is for me, and it's so much more enjoyable because you're getting the excitement and pleasure of the physicality, but you'll also get the feeling of their heart come through as well at the same time. And it's just beautiful. You know, in my opinion, it's just so amazing. And so I'd always prefer to kiss inside of a relationship and have that dynamic and element be within a loving, committed relationship, you know? I just think it's so much better. I think it's easier for physicality as well. Um, and, you know, I think it's important to feel secure, especially as a female, if you're giving your, you know, giving or sharing your body with a guy, you know, you've got a lot more to lose. Pregnancy, as well as STDs and all that lot. Which obviously guys can get as well, but you got the pregnancy risks. So obviously I can still get pregnant. So that's not what I want. I've never wanted kids in my life. I've known that since 15. So yeah, it's kind of like weird when some people are like, oh, I wouldn't mind a relationship, but it's just like a passing fleeting moment to them. It's not something they take seriously. It's not something they strive for. It's not something that they make a priority in their life, you know. And so unless you can find that person who makes the finding and getting and keeping a relationship the same priority as you have, and the same seriousness level as you have, and the same needs, desires, and, you know, kind of the promise to each other to build a life together and to build a dream team together, you know, because that's what a relationship is. It's teamwork, you know. And if your partner's not working as a team with you, you're just playing on your own. It's like, let's get out of the relationship court, as it were, and go on our own way, you know. And so that's why I've decided to bail ship on dating apps, because it's like they're not looking for a serious relationship. The majority of the people I come across on dating apps, they're just looking to hook up, looking for temporary pleasure, looking for instant gratification. um and, you know, that's not what I want in my life, you know. I realize that a lot of people on dating apps maybe are looking for that same thing, but when you are someone who's looking for a serious commit relationship, and all you're finding on dating apps is like hooking up, and guys, some of the guys on Bumble, for example, they weren't disclosing, you know, what they were really looking for in a relationship. Like, some would hide the fact that they do want kids in the future, or they do want marriage in the future. And, you know, it's just bad, because it's just wasting your time in theirs, you know. It's better to just cut to the chase, be direct, and like, what you after, what type of relationship you're after, you know. I would love it if in the future I could meet an Indian guy who was serious about me and did want a loving, caring, committed relationship for life and was different to his own culture and, was very strong in that way, independent, old soul in a young body. I think in his 20s, that would be ideal, really. Because I kind of like get attracted to guys who've got some older souls, I guess, but not to the point where they're too old. But I need a mature Indian guy for me, and one that's different to his culture. It's asking a lot, but I have considered being with someone who's not Indian now, but obviously I do know that I still have feelings for Indian guys. But I'm just taking a break from all the dating apps now. I don't want to be pursuing that anymore. I just want to focus on my own life. I focused on making that a priority, finding a suitable relationship since 2014. We're now in 2022, so it's like 8 years, and it's like enough, I've had some breaks over the last year doing that, but there comes to a point when you've got to realize that if some people don't want the same things as you, there's no point in going after that anymore. So until I can find some guys or a guy, obviously I don't want more than one, who actually is interested in the same type of commitment level that I'm interested in, and who's also like wanting the relationship in the same way that I want it, there's no point, I mean, this stuff sounds like really easy. Oh, find someone for a relationship who wants the same type of thing for you and how you want it, but it's really difficult to find that, isn't it? As asexuals, it's harder for us because, especially if we're sex repulsed, because it's like, a lot of the guys that are serious committed guys, they probably would want sex as part of the relationship anyway. They might want kids, they might want marriage. And I know a lot of asexuals don't want marriage and kids. Well, they specifically don't want kids, a lot of them. More want marriage, I think, than kids. But it's a different life, isn't it? Being asexual to a certain extent, a different life in the sense that we think and feel differently about sex, a lot of us. And we'd rather watch a movie than have sex. We'd rather be doing other things. We'd rather kiss and cuddle, hold hands and have sex. We'd rather, you know, be focusing on being best friends with each other, which is the way a serious committed relationship should be anyway. But, it's kind of like a lot of sexuals, they focus on sexual attraction first and foremost before anything else. And that's not right they do that, but it's what a lot of them do. And so therefore they're already getting into a relationship under different pretenses to what you might be. And therefore it's unlikely to work out. You've got to both want the same type of things, like, and you've got to want bestest ever friendship. If you haven't got a strong foundation of friendship, you ain't going to go anywhere in the relationship. It's going to be a rocky road. Because if you don't really respect and love and value that person and actually have the same sort of morals and values and core beliefs of like right and wrong, then it's going to be a very, very rocky road for you. And so I'd strongly urge you to make a list of the qualities you're looking for in a person. Like, I'm trying to focus more on qualities I like of a person lately. Like, if I get into a relationship, like, kindness, honesty, respect, trustworthiness, commitment, reliability, rather than just looking for looks. Because I do get aesthetically attracted to guys, and that is my attraction that I get the most frequently and most instantaneously, along with romantic attraction. And when you get aesthetic attraction, it can blind you to the rest of them, which may not be suitable for you. So now I'm trying to look more for qualities of guys that are having better personality traits, if you know what I mean. The ones that are kind, caring, loving, sharing, giving. I do have aesthetic attraction, but I can become aesthetic attracted to someone who I wasn't originally that aesthetic attracted to, with an emotional bond. So if I became friends with them first and then got to know them and was talking to them and had stuff in common and felt some kind of soulmate connection with them and deep friendship with them, then I can become more and more attracted to them. So it's possible that I could become attracted to a guy that I would never normally be attracted to in the first place. Obviously, if the guy's got a beard, though, it doesn't really work that way. It can work a bit. I can still have some feelings for him, but it wouldn't be strong enough. You know, and so yeah, I think it's best to write down the qualities you're looking for in a person rather than looks. And also it's better to write down, you know, like, what do you see your future? Do you see like you want to move to America in like 5 years time? Because when I was on the dating app, some of these guys don't want to stay in the UK. They're going to go back to their country because they're just here for study, or they're going to live in another country. They have no intention of staying in this country. And unless you want to get into a short-term or casual relationship with those type of people, it's no good. If you've both got different end goals of where you want to be and where you want to live, it's just never going to work. So it's much better to look for someone who wants to live in the same country that you want to live in, who wants the same or similar lifestyle to what you want. I mean, for me personally, I don't want to live with the guy. So he might have a different lifestyle to me. So he might be, for example, waking up at 9, going to sleep at 11 or something, whereas I don't go to sleep till 4 a.m. and get up at midday, right? So that would be different time schedules that have to be like negotiated and worked around. So the guy doesn't have to have completely the same lifestyle as me because I am happy to live separately. And that's how you could get around the fact, if you both have different lifestyles, that you have separate places so that your lifestyles don't have to match exactly. Like if you're living together, like I've lived with guys in the past, if I'm living with someone, I really have to be having the same type of lifestyle as them, as in sleeping hours, because especially if you're staying in the same room as them, in the same bed, like if they're going to bed at 10:30 and you can't sleep at that time, if you live in a studio flat, like I live in a studio flat currently, I just wake the guy up. I don't want a guy in my room sleeping with me anyway. But if I did, I have had guys staying over in the past and they're like, oh, I just want to get some sleep. And I'm like, I've told them before, there's no point in staying over at my place because I'll be awake till the early hours. If you want to sleep at 10:30, that's fine, but you really should book into a hotel because I'm going to be up until the early hours. And they don't like it when I am. It's like, well, I told you. You know, like if you don't listen to me and respect me and take me seriously, it's really not my problem, you know, but it becomes my problem when they moan at me, you know. So I think that if you've got different lifestyles, it can work so long as you've got some common ground. So long as you say, like, for a couple of days a week we're going to spend X amount of time with each other, you know, like have a couple of dates each week, have some time together time. If you've got so many different, you know, like such different lifestyles that, for example, one person's like away most of the time, the other person's like at home most of the time, you can never meet up, that's clearly never going to work. If you're basically so different time schedules, so for example you've got no way of seeing each other in the evenings because, you know, one person's working evenings, the other person's working in the day, that clearly isn't going to work because it's going to be a very strained relationship, right? So you don't want to have like two different lifestyles that you can't actually merge together in any way and can't come into some common ground. But you're okay to have different lifestyles if you live separately. Like, I hate sport, I can't stand it, but my ex used to love sport, he used to love video games as well, but because we lived in separate places, it don't matter, because didn't matter, I should say, because I'm not with him anymore, obviously, because he could go back to his place, play video games, watch sport, I like in my own home doing my own thing, you know. And so that doesn't have to be a problem, you know. If I hate sport, which I do, I don't want to watch it in my place, but he's perfectly entitled to go back to his place, you know. But you know, I like other things, like different types of movies that the guy might not like and stuff like that, you see. So it's much better to like find someone who you've got the most compatibility with, but it doesn't have to be that you're exactly the same as each other. You can like different things. I mean, sometimes it's better to have some differences so that you add some interest and some flavor to the relationship, because if you're identical totally, it could get a bit boring, I guess. I mean, it depends what you do. I mean, if you're identical in, well, you never be identical because no two people are the same. But say you both did different YouTube channels, you've still got commonality of a YouTube channel, even though it might be completely different. You see what I mean? So you might be like, you could say, oh, we're identical in the fact we both have our YouTube channels, but actually we're very different because they're completely different topics. But no two people are the same. And I think, you know, as long as you have common ground, you have things to talk about, I won't start watching or doing stuff that I don't like that's going to add no benefit to my life. Like one of my friends last night who was talking to me by message, he was saying stuff and he was saying, oh, you can get books on this and you get books on that. I love writing, but I don't like reading very much, which is a curious fact about me. And the reason is I'm so slow at reading. And so I only read absolutely what's necessary for my writing. That's it. And I watch a lot of visual stuff. So I learn mostly from visual stuff and short articles. I just end up rereading the same thing over and over again. It's highly probable because I've got generalized anxiety disorder. And when you have anxiety, it affects your concentration. So you end up repeating the same sentences over and over again. That's why it takes me a long time to write a book as well. Because I'm constantly I'm slow at writing as well, but I'm constantly rereading the bits that I've written and I'm editing as I go along. But I do actually, take my things from my head now and put it straight onto computer Mac, which is much easier. But, you need to find someone for a relationship who wants what you want in the way you want it. So if you both want a serious relationship, but one of you wants to live in a completely different country to the other, that isn't going to work. If you both want a serious relationship, but one of you wants marriage and the other doesn't, that's clearly not going to work. If you want a serious relationship, the other person does, but they want kids and you don't, that's not going to work. So you have to find someone who wants the same type of relationship with you in the way in which you want it, which in my case is a living apart together relationship where you live separately. I did a shorts video on this earlier. Basically, a LAT is a living apart together relationship. It's where you both live separately in different places. You both have your own spaces and have your own life and have your own friends, basically. But you live near each other usually. And therefore, you see each other at least a couple of times a week. You'd be communicating usually every day. A living apart together relationship can actually take a lot more commitment, a lot more communication, a lot more energy and effort because the person isn't just there for you. They're not physically there with you. Therefore, you have to work on the relationship constantly to maintain and sustain it and to have effective communication. So, for example, you'll be going about your day, telling them what's happening in your day. They'll be telling you what's happening in their day. And if you get the right person for you to be in a relationship with, someone who's like you in the mind like this, you'd be just sharing your days with each other as in you're a part of each other's world and life, even when you're apart. So you might be sharing I'm going here with my friend today. We're going to watch this movie. We're going to go to this mall. We're going to do this. And it'd be like you're just sharing your day. And then you'd have set days per week, maybe, or at least 2 days per week that you're going to be seeing each other and spending quality time with each other. That could be around each other's places. It could be going out on a physical date. It could be taking a walk together, a picnic, or whatever. But you need to make sure you're finding a person who wants what you want, is committed to what you want as you are. It's no good getting into a relationship or a dating scenario where the person's wanting something completely different. It's like, because obviously I get attracted to younger guys, so a majority of them are students, and it's fine if they're like a student who knows what their life is. Like, oh, I'm getting this degree now. This is where I want to live after I've got this degree. This is the type of lifestyle I want. And this is the type of relationship I want. I already know that now. I don't need to be X amount of years old to know it, right? That type of guy who knows what he wants. If it was matching with my needs as well and my ideology of the good relationship, then that could be good to go, right? But if you've got a guy who's a student, for example, and who's still studying, excuse me, and doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, he's like, oh, well, when I leave university, I don't actually know what I want to do with my degree. I'm just getting this university degree because I didn't know what else to do. And afterwards, maybe I'll take another course for a year. Maybe I'll go traveling for a year. Maybe I'll take a year out, gap year, go somewhere else. And then well, do you want kids and marriage? I'm really not sure because I haven't thought about that yet. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. And you know what I mean? That's not going to be the type of guy that's going to be suitable for a relationship, So if you're a person who's looking for a serious, committed, loyal, caring relationship and you know what you want right now and it doesn't match the people that you're talking to on dating apps or dating sites, for example, or even in your inbox when you haven't even done much, then you need to let these people go from your life. Or if you think they'll be okay as a friend and you can hack them being your friend without actually completely thinking what if all the time, then that's fair enough. But the majority of these people you want to let go from your life because you cannot be spending hours and days and weeks and months talking to 20 people that aren't suitable for you because you just can't have the guts to say, look, we're looking for different things, and so it wouldn't work. It's much better to be told it wouldn't work. I get guys telling me it's not going to work. Am I a little bit upset? Sometimes I've got feelings for them, yeah, but I'll get over it. And a hell of a lot quicker than if they kept me like hanging on for 6 months because they wanted to talk to me and get me into the idea that I might be in a relationship with them, but really they could not give me the relationship that I wanted. It's much better for a guy just to cut to the chase and say, I'm really sorry, Sandra, really like you, but it wouldn't work for this amount of reasons or this reason, you know? And so this is what we should be doing when we're doing the dating experience, and when we're looking for a relationship, we should actually be just very direct and asking the questions up front, like the deal breakers, like, do you want marriage? Do you want kids? I'm asexual. I'm sex repulsed in my case. I don't know what it is for your case, you know. Do you need sex in a relationship at some point? If the answer is yes, I'm like, okay, we wouldn't be suitable. This is how I work. I don't see the point in lingering on and just wasting time. It's much better to be getting on with your own life, progressing yourself, enhancing your own life experience, than it is on wasting time with people who cannot give you what you want, who cannot be there for you in the way you need, and it's just like not able to provide the type of life you want with them in a relationship, you know? But so many people, they hanker after someone for absolute years without ever having discussed with them if it would ever work in a relationship because they're scared of losing them. So I would say, you know, be less scared of losing people. Just think, you know, if you lose someone, someone else will come up into your life, because they do. Like, I've still got Indian guys in my inbox constantly from a group I went into on Facebook in April, right? The majority of them are just liars. I get married men, which I hate, so I block them usually. You know, trying to friend request me. It's like a guy today. It's like, you're married, for God's sake. What the hell are you? What the hell are you? Well, a lot of them don't friend request me, actually. They just go in my inbox, which is even worse in my opinion. But this guy went in my inbox and said, hi, you know, and it's like, you're married? It even says you're married to on your profile, you know what I mean? And it's just, I hate people like that. It's like, if you can't be faithful, don't be married. You know, this is why I'm really dead against arranged marriages. You know, it's like, unless the actual person's had a say in it and really, really wants to marry the person that they're going to marry, you know, and maybe they know them for years and stuff like this, that's different. But if it's just a complete stranger and they're not really that into them, and they've just done it for cultural reasons because society dictates to them and their parents dictate to them, I'm just really against it, because I see so many clearly unhappy marriages, or guys that are cheating on their wives, and it's disgusting. They deserve better. And you know, so that's why I'm not so keen on being with an Indian guy for a relationship in that sense at the moment. I used to be. I'm just like lost a bit of like yeah, hope for in that way, but I still have feelings for Indian guys. I still like feel that I was with an Indian guy in a previous life, and so yeah, I get a bit sad about that still. But I'm trying to just focus on my career now and other aspects of my life, and not go there in my mind. But you know, when you like, well, you probably don't know, but if you do believe in reincarnation, you do believe in spirituality, you do believe your soul lives on from years to another years, to, you know, like different lifetimes, then you probably understand what I mean. If you've ever loved someone in a past life that it was so strong that it just carries on throughout your other lives, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to find this person again? Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, I've just got to get on with my life. But I kind of have to bury my feelings a bit. And it's not good to bury your feelings, because it's very repressive, and it can cause very a negative build-up of emotions and mental health problems down the line, actually, which is why a lot of people do get mental health problems, because they repress their emotions. You're taught, oh, get over them quickly. Come on, move on to the next person. And from a baby or a kid, don't cry, you know, when someone hurts themselves. Come on, stop crying like there's something wrong with it. It's like, no. You should work through those emotions, face them, face the reality, be a bit upset at the time, and then get on with your life as best as possible and move on logically as possible that you can, you know? But always trying to find someone for a relationship who wants the same type of relationship with you in the way you want it. So what I mean by that is looking for what you want, serious committed relationship. Yes, you know, imagine you finally found this person. They're like, yes, I'm looking for a serious committed relationship. I'm emotionally available for you. I want to be attentive to you. I want to appreciate and value you. I want to actually work as a team together on building a beautiful relationship with you. I want us to spend quality time together. I want us to highly communicate with each other. I want us to work things out as a team. I want us to work as best friends. and I want to do it in the same country as you, and I want to do it in the same way that you want it. For example, I want to do it, if you like marriage, I want to do it and get married, or if you like to live separately like I do, not get married, I want to live separately. I'm quite happy with that. Let's sort it out now, and stop faffing around. And that's what I mean. You need to find the person who wants the same things as you in the same way that you want it. But if you want the same things, you're in two completely different countries and one of you is never going to move, then it's never going to work. So that is not what I mean. Okay, anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, pop an emoji down below or a comment. I'd love to know what you think. And I'll see you soon in the next video or live stream. Lots of love to you. Always stay ace, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon.